This is a two-part session, but you don't need to come to both parts. We've separated the topic between the two. The first one is about the evolution of performance marketing. First question I've got is, how many people were at a similar panel to this in Boston? Is anybody at that panel? All right, not very many. Good. So there won't be a lot of people who have seen some of this before, but the format for the panel is going to be a quick panel introduction, and then I'm going to go through a very, very quick PowerPoint on the evolution of performance marketing. Then we're going to have panel discussions and open up during the discussions to questions from the audience. So if you've got questions, get them ready. I don't see a mic stand, so we'll just have to yell them, and then we'll repeat them. And then we'll have a break, and then we'll have a second session where we're going to try not to repeat anything that we've already done, but we'll check at the end at the beginning of that one, how many were at the first one. So thanks. We've got a great panel here. I'm actually kind of the facilitator and the organizer of it, and we're going to self-moderate, so we're going to all be moderating each other. First, we've got Larry Adams, who's a product manager at Google. He's been there at Google/Performix for 5 years. Was at Performix prior to the Google acquisition. Before that, he was a developer and an architect for e-commerce merchants, including Harley-Davidson and Rolling Stone. Do you still drive a Harley?
No, I never did, actually. They didn't give me the discount as a consultant.
And then Scott Jangro, who founded MechMedia in 2004, publishes niche shopping communities, is a top publisher and recognized industry advocate, and prior to that was a product manager at Be Free, so Scott's been in the industry quite a long time as well. Jim's responsible for the affiliate channel for Yahoo. He's been in this industry for 7 years. Prior to Yahoo, he was at CJ, where he's the director of key accounts, and managed a team responsible for performance of CJ's largest programs. Myself, I founded Vertive in May 2003. Fairly active in the industry, been speaking on panels for a couple years now. Vertive's a leading performance publisher, and we have over 25 vertical websites, and we'll be launching a new one in January that's a big property we're working on. And I've been involved in internet marketing since 1995. Quick overview of the industry we've got. We break the industry down into different segments. We've got merchants, sometimes referred to as advertisers, networks, which includes affiliate and ad networks, affiliate management agencies, and tools and technology providers, and then finally publishers, or sometimes referred to as affiliates. Quick show of hands on the audience. Curious how many publishers we have or affiliates? Why don't you guys kind of help count and figure out? All right, how many merchants or advertisers? What about networks, ad networks or affiliate networks? A couple there. Any agencies or consultants? And what about vendors or service providers or technology providers?
One.
Any industry analysts or press, or where you're kind of exclusively press? We've got one over there. All right, anything we forgot? What about years in the industry? How long have people been in the industry? How many have been in the industry for less than a year? So, what about 1 to 3 years? What about 3 to 5? And over 5? So we got a lot of old timers.
Who all hang out together.
Great, good to know. So quick introduction. I'm going to go really fast, but the way we break out the industry is there's 3 types of online marketing: cost per thousand or CPM marketing, cost per click, or cost per action. For this panel, we're focused on cost per action, which we are also referring to, or at least I'm referring to, as performance marketing, and we'll have a little discussion about that as well. The industry began as affiliate marketing. Websites earned a commission on sales from their links. Networks came into the picture and accelerated the growth. The growth took a while, though. Those who have been in the industry look back, it really took a while for the industry to get going. We were talking before about the various acquisitions along the way and how, in many ways, the networks were all acquired for fairly low multiples, even by the standards at which they were acquired. And part of it was the industry just didn't take off until search advertising and PPC really created opportunities for performance marketing and performance publishers. From that initial entree and the beginning, a lot of performance marketing publishers have emerged, and a lot of companies have been created out of what started as affiliate marketing. On the publisher side, from that have emerged a number of different business models. There's direct linking search affiliates, performance publishers, niche sites and blogs, and those would be the sites that don't necessarily try to sell a particular product, but might put an ad or an affiliate link on the side. Coupons and deal sites, and cashback or points or loyalty sites. And then we break down the actions, and this is where I think it's important to refer to the industry as performance marketing as opposed to just affiliate, into three types. Leads or forms, which include loans, insurance, or car or free trial type offers. Services or subscriptions, things like credit cards or subscriptions or memberships. And then retail products, where you've got gifts or shoes. The action that gets paid for is different in all three of those instances. And it's the combination of the three that is, when I refer to performance marketing, what I'm referring to, and what many in the industry are also starting to pull those three together. One of the interesting notes about those is in each of those different relationships or different types of business models, there's different business deals that happen. There's direct relationship deals, there's affiliate networks, and then there's sub-affiliate networks and ad networks that companies work with for those actions. One interesting note, which we are going to discuss a little bit about, is the amount that gets paid in the affiliate channel. This is some data from Forrester Research, which quotes shop.org for it. While the methodology of it is not necessarily clear, one thing is that the average order size in the affiliate channel at $12.24, which is what the merchants are paying, is far less than is being paid for or was paid for in 2008 in online banners, which the average was $84.21. An interesting slide, which we'll refer back to in some of the questions in terms of kind of why this is the case. But the bottom line is that retailers spend more for new customers in other channels than they do in the affiliate or the performance channel. Why performance marketing works? Very quickly, it's win-win for publishers and merchants. It's a cost-effective way to generate actions. And merchants get to determine how much an action is worth. In many cases, a lot of the success comes from the fact that networks have created a marketplace and make it very easy for a merchant to get started as well as for a publisher to get started with new merchants. So from there, we're going to move to discussion topics. And the first question that I have that Larry will get us started with is the question around performance marketing. And is it important that we call it performance marketing, or is affiliate marketing just fine and dandy, or does he have a different preference for what he likes to refer to the industry? As I made it, my point is I think given that there's three types of actions, and right now those actions often get counted in different buckets, whether it be from IAB or Forrester, that it's important that we start pulling all of that together as one and referring to the combination as performance marketing. Larry, your thoughts?
As we were getting ready up here, I was I took the opinion that it doesn't really matter, but after thinking about it for a little while, I think it probably does. The real important thing, I think, is that we tend to have a pretty low profile with advertisers and senior executives at agencies and at really large corporations. And I think there's a big opportunity for affiliate marketers with advertisers that haven't traditionally used affiliate marketing because they don't understand what it is. And I think if we are able to come up with a clear definition and get recognition from standards bodies and other things, that will bode well for the industry at large. I don't know what the name should be. I don't necessarily think performance marketing is the right word because we're getting to the point where all marketing is performance marketing and everybody's measuring an ROI on their marketing spend, regardless of whether it's online or offline. Affiliate marketing has its own problems with nomenclature because lots of people have this impression of what affiliate marketing is, and they have a very narrow view, and they may think about one particular corner of the industry and not the others. Overall, I think affiliate is probably the most widely accepted term. It's, it's sort of the umbrella term for all of the various parties that are represented here. We've got a diverse group here. If you go to the exhibit hall, there's a lot of different types of marketers out there, and obviously all related in some way, and all operating under the auspices of affiliate marketing. So I think it's as good as any, but I'm certainly welcome to suggestions.
Jim, you're?
I think the key for me, especially internally in selling the channel at Yahoo, is clearly explaining that its unique value proposition is that we're able to define or pre-establish our CPA or target ROI in a very sort of narrow range. And so when you're talking about planning and things of that nature, that's a very attractive proposition to folks who are deciding how much investment we're going to have in the channel. So to the extent that performance marketing becomes a term that delineates that clearly, that it's indeed a channel where the advertiser has a lot more control with respect to accountability and expectations. I think as Larry said, everything's measurable online, but you can't necessarily manage to the sort of tight,
Move the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you can't necessarily manage to, closely manage to an ROI or CPA target as well as with CPC or CPM as well as you might with affiliates. So my take is that's the key thing that I would like to, if we're talking about what we're going to call the channel, I'd like that to get across.
I call it affiliate, to answer your question, Steve. That's part of where I come from, I guess. And in my short stint at CJ, we do have a problem with nomenclature in the industry, like Larry said. So are they publishers? Are they affiliates? Are they merchants? Are they advertisers? Our industry is called affiliate, but one of the parties in there are called affiliates, and some affiliates refer to merchants as affiliates, and it's just a big mess. But I think that's our bed that we made, and we should lay in it. But as far as what we do, I think performance marketing is a great way to refer to it. I don't think we need a rebrand, personally, but so that's my thought. All right, next question. There was the slide about that you mentioned, Steve, with the numbers from Forrester Research, showing that the affiliate channel has the lowest cost per sale. There it is, versus other online marketing methods. Why do you guys think this is, and how do you think the amount publishers are paid will change in the future versus other marketing channels? Jim?
Is that to me? Well, I think the big thing there is that especially retail merchants, they're able to, they don't pay, most of them, I should say, don't pay on returns or exchanges. So to that extent, that cost, that can't be factored out of a CPC spend or other kind of online display buys. So I think that's a huge factor. I think that as more folks shift larger budgets to the affiliate channel, by nature, we're going to see these average cost per orders go up because folks are going to have to spend their budgets, and I think they're going to be a little bit more willing to spend a little bit more aggressively, which I think will result in larger average order sizes.
Oh,
Larry?
Yeah, I think it means that in some cases, advertisers probably aren't spending enough, and they're leaving some opportunity on the table. If they're willing to pay, $15 an order or $30 an order at comparison shopping engines, but only $12 an order in affiliates, they're either overpaying in comparison shopping or they're underpaying in affiliate, or some mixture of the two. And I know, and I have spoken with advertisers who have a lot of clarity about the value of consumers that are coming from different channels, but they're pretty rare, people who have that much visibility and really understand. And then it also comes down to what does it, and we'll be talking about this, I think, in the next session, but what does it mean to be, that affiliate drove the sale? There's obviously, in very rare cases, I think you're going to see that the consumer's never heard of your brand before and then, bought something through the affiliate channel. They've been exposed to marketing from a variety of different channels prior to affiliate, and I think that some advertisers' perspective is that they've already paid some of the affiliate spend by generating the awareness in other channels, and so they expect that the cost will be lower in affiliate. And then finally, I think there's been a traditional impression that the value of the affiliate consumer is lower because there are these deal hunters and they're really trying to game the system. And we've done a fair amount of research over the years, last couple of years in particular, and we've published it around what the value of an affiliate consumer is, somebody who's buying through the affiliate channel versus somebody who's buying through search or comparison shopping and others. And what we found was, while it's true that many affiliate shoppers are looking for good deals, they're spending on average more per transaction, and you can see some of that in these numbers. And so, yeah, they maybe are paying less per unit, but if they're spending more with you overall, that's probably a good thing. They tend to be better educated. They tend to spend more time online. They are more sophisticated consumers. And at Google, we have this, there's lots of philosophies and things that they tell us, but you design for the power user. And affiliate is designed for the power consumer. And I think that's an important thing to consider, and that our customers are really sophisticated. So that may play into that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think we're actually starting to see some merchants differentiate the different types of publishers they work with, pay more for some. They're starting to do a better job of tracking which publishers generate which types of customers, and changing the mix in terms of what how they reward various publishers as well. I think the biggest thing we have to overcome as an industry is that historically the channel's been paid less, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's always been less. We always pay $20 for a customer in search and $5 in affiliate. That's just the way it's been. And I've had a number of merchants flat out tell me that that's the case. And hopefully, as the industry grows and matures, we can do a better job of working with merchants, because what's missing is, if you're not paying a fair value or enough to your best publishers, especially the ones driving incremental sales through search, you're not getting the full value out of the channel. And I think a lot of merchants still miss that, and they still think that in some cases that the less they spend is better. And in many cases, it's about moving the dial and making sure to maximize the return on a given type of customer. So I'm hopeful that when we look at this slide another point, that A, there'll be more data supporting it, and B, that the numbers will start to shift as we do a better job of educating merchants.
Yeah, just to add, Steve, one quick thing there. It's important to realize that these are averages, right? And if you take a look at the channel, the individual, as you mentioned, Steve, the individual affiliates in that channel bring different levels of value. So there's a group of affiliates who drive really high value, and there's another group of affiliates that drive much smaller value. And when you average that out, you get these numbers. But I think it's going to become really important in the future for the networks to provide tools to the merchants, and for the merchants to take a good hard look at the value of the segments of the affiliate channel instead of taking a look at it as a whole. And there's certainly a segment of affiliates who provide a much higher value than they get paid for.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think we, for our order businesses, we actually look at the lifetime value, and especially churn rate as well, when we're paying large bounties for a product that has, we might not see the lifetime value, say 18 months or something, but we definitely look at affiliate-specific LTVs. And what we found is, and oftentimes, our top affiliates have superior lifetime values, or driving superior longer tenured customers than SEM in most cases, and oftentimes some of the off-network ad buys we do.
Do you find the tools to measure that are getting better in your ability to kind of track your customers back to the actual publisher?
So the way we manage that is we aggregate all our OIDs. It's tied, each order ID is tied to an affiliate, and then we just have to work through with our billing data warehouse data to run that analysis. So I don't think there's not necessarily any tools that networks can provide to facilitate that, besides perhaps making it easier to get that data. So we're on to the next one. So we're here to talk about kind of the future and where we're at. So where do you guys see most growth coming from today, and where do you see it coming from perhaps in the future? Is it going to be coming from a larger set of smaller publishers, or are larger publishers going to play a larger role in the overall mix? And what's the business model going to look like? Will it be more direct linking, be more coupon sites, incentive or loyalty? Larry, what do you think?
It's a really interesting question. I think I'm not going to say that the traditional affiliate publisher space is saturated, but I would also say that we haven't seen a bunch of new, publishers rocket onto the scene and become huge players. And I think that's for a variety of reasons. The publishers that are established are getting better and better at what they do. I don't think it's impossible for a new publisher to come on and build a business and make a living out of it. But I think I think we're going to see that there are publishers who come out with business models that are very different than the ones that are working today. Social networking is one where I think that is really untapped right now. I know there's a lot of people trying to make money in social networking, and I don't think very many people are succeeding, including the social networks themselves. And so I think there will be, at some point, people that figure out how to appropriately monetize social networks. And I think that segment of publisher, I don't even know if you're going to call them publishers. It's application developers and potentially individuals who will become. You have these people on Facebook who have influence over their friends, and there are little girls who buy a specific doll and they tell their friends about it, and then their friends buy that doll. And I think there are going to be ways to measure that in the future that will create new channels for advertisers. On the flip side, I think we're going to. Hopefully we see the balance of cost start to equalize, and people who are obviously getting adequate ROI over search and these other channels will start to pay more in affiliate because they're seeing that value and they recognize upside. So I think there's some headroom there, and just the amount of money that people are willing to pay for affiliate acquisition. And I also think that we're going to start seeing other types of marketers, verticals, participate in affiliate marketing that haven't done it before. I would love to be able to walk into any CPG manufacturer or CPG advertiser and sell them affiliate marketing. It would be great if we could go into Johnson & Johnson and Procter & Gamble and that sort of thing, but we haven't figured out a way to acquire customers for them that doesn't violate pre-existing marketing agreements they have with their distributors, and they all have different people running different products, and it's and they don't know what affiliate marketing is. They need to their agencies don't know what affiliate marketing is, and they need to be educated. But I think there's the vast majority of revenue in affiliate marketing is people filling out forms and people buying stuff online. And there's lots of other commercial activity that happens on and off the web that can be measured, and once it's measurable, it then lends itself to affiliate.
You want to add anything?
No.
You asked, we'll move on. We'll move on to the next one.
So this is a question I had for these guys, because one of the things we're obviously in an interesting economy right now, and I'm sure that advertisers are looking for new ways to squeeze performance out of all of their channels, and affiliate in particular. One of the things I was thinking about, I was listening to a radio program or something like that about ad campaigns, and they were talking about the power of really great creative. And I think it's something that tends to be lacking in affiliate marketing, at least from the advertiser side, that advertisers really don't provide great creative to their affiliates. They will, most of them don't have access to creative resources, and those that do, just sort of get banners that are being distributed elsewhere. On the search side, they're, employing copy editors to write copy for their ads and all these things, and I feel like affiliate doesn't get that same level of attention. So I'm wondering from Scott and Steve, are there advertisers that do a great job of providing creative? What's the impact of that? And then on the other side, one of the nice things about affiliate is that many advertisers give their publishers a lot of free rein about building their own creative, and how do advertiser creative policies play into your decision to promote an advertiser, or limit or enhance your ability to promote them. So we'll start with Scott and then go over to Steve.
From our perspective, we make our own creative. So, I don't need a bunch of banners or images and things like that made available to us. We'll develop our own. As long as I have a direct line to the merchant to request what I need, whether it's graphics or content or whatever it is I need to promote their product, or just permission, to talk about it in a certain way. That's the most important thing. I'd rather see them focus more on, conversion rates and making sure that things are running properly, rather than create, 1,000 different banners for publishers to use.
Yeah, I did actually basically say the same thing. We build our own content, and I talk to merchants all the time. For every $1 you put into sending us 1,000 new banners, if you can turn that into a focus on conversion rate and giving us better access to deep link into your site, we'll all make more money in the long run, and it's kind of the message I share for the merchants as well as the networks. I'd much prefer people focusing on landing page quality, conversion rate, improved tracking, and better access to deep linking than really worrying about creating great creative. That's really the job that I see as a publisher. It's our job to sell your product, and we just need you to actually help provide the tools to make that easier.
Yeah, if I could just echo that, the most critical thing for us to decide whether we're going to promote a merchant, when you talk about creatives and what we look at to decide who we can and will work with, being able to effectively promote a merchant with deep linking, being able to send traffic directly to the product that we know that they're looking for. That is the most critical thing, rather than simple graphics and creatives.
Do either of you guys do ad copy testing and that sort of thing? How do you execute that?
Yeah, we do. We do a lot of A/B testing on our landing pages, and then we also do a lot of A/B testing with our Google ads. But the last thing we need is a merchant telling us exactly how to do it. We much prefer guidelines, and then give us the freedom to be the marketer that we are. And we find that's the most useful. Sometimes it's helpful to get product information from a company or more details on a given product. But when we have a merchant that says, this is the way your Google ad needs to be, it's kind of useless, because if that's the ad they're running, we can't exactly differentiate then.
Jim, do you have access to creative resources at Yahoo? Like, where does your creative come from?
So Ogilvy is our creative agency, and about quarterly we get a refresh, of, at least especially for most of the order businesses. So we're updating creative about quarterly. Occasionally we'll get requests from affiliates that are looking for something custom or different from what we're currently offering, whether it's size or something to better integrate into their site, and we'll try and work with them. We have a kind of just-in-time agency that we work with to source that stuff. It's pretty straightforward in that regard.
So I've got another question, and when we're done with this question, we'll take, we've got plenty of questions to ask each other, but we'll take some questions from the audience. There's a mic in the middle. Makes it a lot easier for everybody. It makes it easier for the videos as well. So if you've got some questions, after we finish this question, we'll start at the mic with any questions we have from the audience. So send them on up. But one of the interesting things when we look at where we're at today as a channel is how the program is managed. And some companies, it's managed as part of the online marketing department. Some people have broken out, some companies have broken out affiliate as a separate channel or performance as a separate channel. For some, it's part of the search group. And I guess the question, if y'all want to chime in on what you think works the best, or what you've seen that does work or doesn't work. Larry, you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we have advertisers who run it, have almost no staff, and we're dealing with some relatively senior marketing manager who's asking us to do almost everything for them. To people who part of their day job is affiliate, part of their day job is something else. To people who have multiple staff on just affiliate. As you would expect, people who spend more time focusing on affiliate and have resources dedicated to it tend to do better. They tend to have better relationships with their publishers. They have, a lot more engagement. They understand what's going on in their program more. They tend to get better yield out of the program. It's, as with anything, you get out of it what you put in. The most challenging interplay I think that I've seen is the conflict between people who are responsible for affiliate and search at different companies. And if they are working for different bosses, that tends to create problems because affiliate will want to, be more liberal with their search policy. The affiliate manager will want to be more liberal with search policy, and the search manager wants to be less. And it becomes a challenge then as a network to get your advertiser to make a move on anything because they have all this internal conflict about what the policy should be. I think it would be great if everybody had a dedicated affiliate manager. It would, I think that would go a long way towards adding legitimacy to the channel and raising the visibility of the channel in various organizations. For some companies, it's obviously it's not realistic. They're small, 1, 2, 3 person shops, and people have to wear many hats. And those are the cases where I think you seek out experts and consultants or networks who are willing to help you out and take it from there. But as much as you can, have somebody where their job is really to focus on this. It will pay dividends.
Yeah, I think the biggest issues I see with this is that I think traditionally it's mostly the marketing department that has the affiliate channel in it, and that department works on a budget, and affiliate is performance-based, and it should be a cost of sales model. And literally, I've seen some affiliate programs have to shut down because they've run out of budget for the month or the quarter or the year, which is just ridiculous. So hopefully, or it would be better if things were tied more closely to the sales side of things. That's the biggest issue I've seen in the past. I think going forward, when you start to think about the economy and how companies are starting to cut back, I expect that marketing organizations are going to get hit before sales organizations. So I think that might affect us as publishers, where our affiliate management team at the different at some of these companies that are cutting back, we're going to lose some resources that we have. So I think that might be a concern going forward.
A quick show of hands from the merchants in the audience. How many merchants, if merchants can all raise their hands, and how? So it's about a third. How many have a budget for their affiliate program, or how many run it as an incremental cost or a cost of sale? Who runs it as an incremental cost or a cost of sale? Roughly half of those. We find that to be one of the most interesting issues that we run into. We would prefer that the channel do a better job of educating the CMOs or chief executives, or if it's a small business owner, about thinking about the channel as a cost of sale. And if you account for it in that spot, as a company, the likelihood of running out of budget is much lower. It requires a lot more diligence. It requires a lot more hands-on management and a lot more tracking. But overall, I think that's what's going to grow the industry the most, is if we can move more of the money into the cost of sale line at budgets, as opposed to companies thinking about it as an advertising expense.
Yeah, I think, sorry to jump in, but I think some of that tends to be finance people don't necessarily understand online marketing, and so they're trying to, budget for this the way they've budgeted for their advertising in the past, which is, you come up with a contract, you know what you're going to pay up front, it's some big chunk of money that you can budget for, and you can sort of anticipate how much you're going to spend over the course of the year. Whereas with online marketing, it's not as predictable. If your product happens to be featured on the Today Show, you're going to see a whole bunch of extra search traffic, and your search costs go up. And that's not something CFOs are really comfortable with yet. And yet another, point where we need to, another group of people that we need to educate about this industry and why it's different and how to, appropriately consider the costs that are associated.
Jim, how do you guys do it?
Well, we do have a budget, but we've become much better in the last couple of years about managing. The SEM and affiliates are managed separately, but we've had some great success with a couple really great search partners, and we really view those folks and the affiliate channel as an extension of our SEM footprint, if you will. And so when we start bumping up against say, our affiliate budget, we recognize that it's much easier to shift budget from SEM over to affiliate for a short time, because you don't have the same sort of heartburn with your affiliate partners if you were to turn the program down or reduce commissions in the short term. But it's tough. I mean, if you're paying, for example, in the web hosting category, you're paying pretty large bounties on a kind of a long tail, customer LTV. And so cash flow becomes a problem when you're running a large program like that, especially as you get in the end of the year. Cash flow concerns do become an issue, especially if a company like Yahoo, where that's not necessarily our primary business. That's created challenges for us, but we've become a little bit more adept at managing through them.
Is there any retailer there that manages it as a cost of sale, that wants to share with the rest their kind of experience in either getting their company to change or how you kind of manages it as a cost of sale? Any takers from the? Come on, there's got to be a retailer here. Half of you said that you manage it as a cost of sale. All right. Well, we'll keep going. Any questions for us that we can? Those want to interject? Oh, we got a question coming.
Okay, so my question for you guys is, I have heard a lot of chatter lately about how affiliate marketing doesn't add incremental value. And you hear it from basically networks, have heard it, advertisers, agencies, et cetera, and it's a fight that they're constantly having about it. I'm curious, one, what you guys think the solution is, and two, what role affiliates can play in helping to get that message across that, in fact, it does. I mean, Jim, you offered one good example with your metrics that you said earlier about the lifetime value and the contribution that's going on. But what other types of things have you guys heard? And if you could talk about that a little bit. It's a kind of industry question.
Great question. Who wants to go first?
Well, I think in a lot of ways it's the responsibility of the folks who run the channel to educate people internally. I mean, that's come up. We launched a affiliate program that's been very successful. We launched it about a little over a year ago, and the big concern was that these SEM affiliates were going to cannibalize our own internal SEM, and part of that was a political issue that we had to fight through. But what we were able to do is we ran it for a while, and then we were able to clearly demonstrate that, in fact, we had not cannibalize our internal program at all, and we've just basically created a much larger search program, and on a CPA or rev share basis, which is incredibly attractive. So from my perspective, I think there is a lot of selling that needs to happen, and if you are able to have some successes like the one I just described, build a case study out of it, and it really helps you add credibility when you're looking to expand the channel.
I think the fact of the matter is that there are some affiliates that don't add value. So when you take a look at a channel, and again in general you see averages. I know that some of us tend to live just in kind of in the network space, in the big affiliate networks, and work there. And I think that when merchants are working in that space, it's hard to differentiate between the different publishers that are in the channel and really identify which ones are adding the most value, which ones are adding the least value. I hear stories, it's not in any of the spaces that I work in, but I think it was a guy that I work with used to do a lot in dating, and he got fired from that program, kicked out of the program because he wasn't adding value. And so there, some programs are looking at the value of the individual publishers, kick out the ones that aren't driving value to them, and foster the growth of the ones that do. And I think that, and I hope that our industry in general will more become better about providing the tools to the merchants so that they can measure the value of the individuals, or at least segments, in the program.
Yeah, install Google Analytics. But I mean, seriously, don't make these decisions based on a hunch. Get data, figure out what value these publishers are really driving for you, the consumers that each individual publisher is able to acquire, and then make your decisions. It doesn't make any sense to just arbitrarily, cut publishers based on volume, for instance, because you have no idea whether you're cutting, 50 good publishers who are driving, who have created new consumer relationships with you that have extremely high value and came to you at very low cost. It's I think, really inappropriate to make those types of decisions without having actual data. And the facility is there. You all have, merchants have reporting by publisher, often by product, across long expanses of time, and most of them have internal analytics packages that shows them even a greater volume of data. Now, how you calculate the value of a consumer, I think, is really the key point. And what you consider a customer acquisition. If some people say, once you're on your house file, you're my customer, which is kind of a naive approach these days, I think. There's so much consumer choice out there. There's so many ways to find information and find new merchants, and there are new merchants who are able to come online and sell competitive products to yours with almost no overhead to start. And so, I think people, when they're thinking about, lifetime value and what a new customer is, need to sort of challenge the assumptions that they've made 3 and 4 and 5 years ago, and break free from the days of the catalog and think about these metrics in the context of an online world where consumers' attention spans are really short, and people are able to drop you for your competitor almost instantly and not really care about it very much.
Yeah, I had a merchant recently that we work with tell me that they had done an internal analysis, and the solution they came up with was they were with one of the major networks, and they were going to add a second major network. And the data didn't necessarily support that, but that was the recommendation that had been made. And I kind of asked him, well, have you talked to your 10 biggest publishers to ask them how they think you can grow the program? And it was as if I had said something that he had just never thought about. It was like, wow, you mean I could do more with the people I'm already working with? And it was too late. They'd already added to another network, so now they basically have a much tougher time seeing who their biggest publishers are, because there's even some publishers who are in their program in both networks. The point ends up being is that the data, and in many ways the best place to start is with your top publishers or your competitors' top publishers, not hard to figure out who they are in most cases, and figure out how to grow those and how to analyze those. If a merchant can't analyze all their data, you can at least analyze some of it and then figure out where the value gets added. But that's a great question, and it's an unfortunate one that we continue to have to address. But I think to Scott's point, there definitely are some cases where value isn't added. Question?
I actually had a comment going back to the what merchants were doing to account for sales so they don't run their whole department into the ground. I work at Overstock, and as long as I've known, we've found a way to, with all of our coupons, attach basically what our average commission is. And so no matter how many sales we have in the month, we're automatically accruing for that particular commission. We do everything on a rev share, so it makes it obviously a lot easier. So I don't know what you guys were wanting when you made the comment.
So are you saying you have a budget for the channel, or you don't have one?
We do and we don't. Like, if a publisher explodes, we're accruing for that, and as long as it's positive, we're okay.
So you're tracking it and basically looking at.
So we don't get hosed at the end of the month and just look at our link share bill and say, oh crap, time to fold and go look for a job at wherever. But
And how have you had to convince the accounting department to kind of help with that, or have you not?
they're on board.
They're on board.
Yeah.
He's got an accounting department that gets it.
Yeah.
Well, I
Maybe
mean,
that's the problem. Maybe you have to convince other channels. We have a pretty open policy about if it works and if it adds value to the company, let's see how we can make it work. And maybe the people that hear the choir, obviously, so you need to find a way to convince accounting to make sure you can accrue for things and convince either upper management or the people in your same department that it is the right way to go. You just need to find a way to make it work for you guys. But the automatic accruing, except for maybe a few things that we do, gets rid of 95% of problems with some item that might spike your sales and throw off your month and screw up your bonus or your career. But
do you manage search spend the same way?
no, it's a different department. So, sorry, Larry. I believe they do, but they're judged the same way we are, and they accrue spend the same way. So yes, but I don't know. I couldn't answer it more specifically than that.
Do you know if you're counting that as a cost of sale or as a marketing expense, the affiliate commission?
I think and in the end, it's a marketing expense, but it's kind of all the same based on how we account for it.
All right, great.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Do we have another question?
Hi, Chuck Hamrick, Affiliate Group. Steve, I want to thank you again for another great panel. I enjoyed your discussion in Boston. My question, it didn't sit well with me, the two affiliates, Scott and Steve, to make a comment that one of your pain points with affiliate managers or OPMs is to get direct linking and graphics outside of the standard branding banners. In my perspective, if an affiliate approached me and said, hey, I made my own banners, maybe co-branded them, I would get them up for them in a day, provided I can make sure that they don't violate any brand identity. Direct linking, most of the top networks have a direct linking tool. Are you talking about direct linking for paid search?
We were both actually saying deep linking.
Oh, deep linking. Okay, so
Yeah.
Are you saying that, now, do you not work with data feeds?
Well, sometimes data feeds break more often than they don't work in our experience. Some of them are quality, but there's plenty of data feeds that don't even go to the right page. You'll have an item product that will take you to a group page, and you'll have out of stock situations with data feeds all the time. So I think the point I was making, and I'll let Scott add his, was that we see merchants spend a lot of money on things like creating banners or having contests, and our advice is focus more on conversion rate and focus more on just improving things like what page we can link to and how that user experience flows, and less worrying about having 100 new banners every month or a contest and giving away $50 to the fastest growing affiliate. That's my kind of advice.
Are you not getting, I'm spending a lot of time, and our group is spending a lot of time trying to get information to affiliates, and I'm amazed at the lack of feedback from affiliates. I jump on, a response from affiliate or an inquiry from affiliate. I've got, every IM account available publicly and all kinds of ways to contact me, and really don't have a lot of affiliates coming back saying, hey, can I get your top 10 products? Can I get a keyword list? Can you clarify your policy on pay-per-click? Can I, bid to brand? Can I not bid to brand? So you guys are very well known, and if you're not getting feedback, or if you're not getting to the right people and getting the support, it galls me, because I'm trying to get guys like you in my programs.
Yeah.
So can you speak to that? Are you not getting the tools that you need to do the job, the effective tools? Forget about the other stuff.
Yeah, my point about the deep linking was it's true that all merchants support it. And yes, there's data feeds and, all networks support it, not all merchants. And the biggest issue is with the merchants who don't support that. Even though the networks support deep linking, not all merchants allow it or can track it. And that's the biggest issue that I have. I want to work with a new merchant, I want to promote their specific products, and I want to send traffic directly to those products, and I can't.
Yeah, and I just to provide some guidance to people about why that is. In my experience, there's two reasons why an advertiser doesn't allow deep linking, or maybe three. One is that they have marketing agreements that say that they can't promote specific products or certain things with external advertising, and that's because of brand, like I was speaking about earlier, brand agreements with certain manufacturers, and you can't use their brand in your marketing, and if they find you doing that, there's huge fines for that sort of thing, and that's an unfortunate artifact of old school marketing, and that's going to be around for a while. The second is technical, and this is something that advertisers can actually fix. So if your problem is technical, a lot of times, and I think this is the predominant one, if your site can't support deep linking because your tracking won't work if you link to a specific page, like all the traffic has to be routed through one page, and then you have these really wonky URLs and parameters that need to be appended, and so it's either impossible or very difficult to build those links, and so they don't want to open that up because then they're going to run into tracking problems, and publishers will get pissed off because the traffic that they're sending isn't converting. And then the third is trust, and there are lots of advertisers out there who are not comfortable with giving publishers a lot of free rein. I think that's lessening, but it's still very much an impression I get. And so one of the things that we've done as a network is let advertisers turn direct linking on for specific publishers to get them comfortable with the idea that a publisher is a responsible extension of their marketing group, and that they can give them, and once they see the benefits of doing that, then maybe they open that more widely. And that's been one way that we've been able to make that work.
Are you saying direct or deep?
Deep linking, yeah.
Deep.
Direct linking to pages other than the ones that the advertiser provides as sort of the, here's your 10 banners and 10 text links.
I think we have time for one more question. But as a reminder, we will be, we'll stick around afterward. We'll take a quick break, and we'll start. In the second session, we'll focus much more about the future. This one was a lot more about kind of where we're at today. And one other reminder, if you can fill out your evaluation forms, Sean takes them very seriously, as does Missy, and they read them all. So good, bad, or indifferent, if you fill out your evaluation forms, it's helpful for Affiliate Summit to keep improving and providing great content. Last question.
Yeah, so I wanted to comment on the accounting for marketing, whether you put it in your marketing budget or cost of sale. One of the reasons I'm here, I'm a CEO for an advertiser, and performance-based marketing for us is somewhat of a marketing panacea because we can move the marketing cost as a cost of sale. It allows me to look at the business quite differently when fundraising, when capital raising, institutional and venture type investors, when they see a strategy that's positioned with performance-based marketing as an accountable strategy, I think it makes writing a $10 or $20 million check to invest in a business, having understood the working capital requirements, much easier. The problem is we're not exactly there yet. It's still kind of unproven, especially for a company like mine. But as it becomes more of a reality in the market, in the industry shifts to where all types of advertisers can go down the path of performance-based marketing, I think you'll see the entire industry of advertisers start to think about, I mean, it's a very provocative question, putting it in the cost of sale. I'm not familiar with any companies that are in my space that have done this yet, but this is something that we're looking at.
What category are you in?
We have a piece of hardware. We do a lot of retail distribution. It's called UMA, and it's a box you buy from Best Buy. It's free phone service for life. It's a one-time fee, and we're expanding. We're doing an affiliate marketing push in 2009. And the idea, when you talk about the CFO would love to see it as a cost of sale if you could believe it, right? We have to manage our working capital requirements. We have a pretty long lead time for building product and then finally getting paid for the product. And so understanding the actual cost of sale, being able to put that into the business plan allows us to run a much more deterministic operation.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's a marketing panacea if we can get there.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to end on because it's a great place to start the next discussion in terms of kind of where the future is heading, and that's a big part of it is how do we make sure there's enough money to grow the industry. I want to thank everybody. I've got, like I said, we'll stick around and we'll be back at 3:30 for a closer look at the future. So thank you.